right, jumping right in. Part 2 of my conversation with friends that isn't happening, but they're all going to have it. Mount Shasta, I went there, which if you think about Mount Shasta, people go there from all over the world to experience the magic of that place because it is the root chakra. If you've ever been to Sedona, which that's a whole thing I didn't talk about. I went to Sedona for clarity in May of 2021, right past COVID. And I asked for clarity. I went to every mountain and I got it. I met Alden. We never touched hands. I met him. We sat and talked for hours. And then we talked on the phone, and then he went home, and then I had the vision that we've been together in many lifetimes, and I was running away with him. I was running away with a guy from Massachusetts who ended up dying. But the last thing he had to do before he died, he had to meet me. And in meeting me, it was a gift for both of us. And I was there holding his hand when he died, not the physical, but he has been with me since that. But Alden meeting me, I had to meet him in person because that meeting connected me and cleaned my clogged pipes. It connected me to the sky. We all have a connection to the sky, to our higher self, to all that is. But we have so many beliefs and things that we're plugged into. It's like a bad chimney. There's a lot of smoke coming down inside. You got to clean that out. And so meeting Alden was something that I had to do. A woman on the Oregon coast. She was somebody having premonitions, having all this stuff. She could do remote viewing. She was like crazy good at remote viewing, but she had to meet me in the flesh. Sorry, for her to start having out-of-body experiences. And she didn't want to, but they started happening. So you make connections with people. This is why we're fluid. This is why I say keep going. If you stay in one city, if you're not traveling, if you're not relocating, this is move number 104 for me. And I just have to go where I go next. And this is rent. I'm not staying here either. I just keep going because I follow the calling, and the calling takes me to the people that I'm supposed to meet next. You'll never get there from there. I'm done publishing. Man is running his own nest, and I don't know what's next. And then suddenly I am building a fortress around my home. I put up a 6-foot bamboo fence. I'm already on 4/10 of an acre and my house is set back, so I don't have any human companionship. I put up a 6-foot bamboo fence so I could still see through enough. It was light enough and it was cheap. I wanted cheap. But people, I saw them walking by all the time. They could no longer look at me. People were so curious about me. It's like, who is that lady? Why doesn't she have any company? But I would feel the energy, because that's what it is, of their curiosity. Their eyes are looking at me, and it's that, who is she? Why does she never have company? And so I put up that fence, and that went away. I could do yoga out on my patio. I was watching movies on the screen in my yard because I could. But I did not have a clue. There was no way I could know that when I was told in May of 22, when I was in the Zoom call with my friends and I was told I was disappearing and I was being summoned, this is what I was summoned for, to receive the bridge. And Stacy texted me the summer of 22. She's a medium, just a highly gifted person in the Puyallup area. She was a friend there. She said, my guides are yanking at me that I need to tell you, you have to get going on the bridge and you've got to stop sugarcoating it or make it seem easy, because it's not. And it took her 2 years to send me this message because she was thinking she was an ego, that it was her thinking she had to send it. So finally they cracked the whip and said, send it now, Stacy. So she did. And the word, the bridge. And that's exactly what it was. I crossed a bridge from one peak to the other, and I'll make sure I'll insert the meme. Study this meme. I'm going to plop it in here. Study this, all the components. In 2016, I started this journey. It's 226. It's like I was living then in a money, emotion world. Money-based, emotion-based. Feelings were everything. You're mad and angry and jealous and sad. But I went down that mountain. I did all the work, and just letting everything go was all you do. You just don't do the work. You just let everything go. Not shadow work, just let it go. But then I went up the summit to the next mountain, and I made it to the top. And you'll see me on the top of that meme. Look at me on the top there. When you just release everything and think, okay, it happened to me. It didn't define me. And then you get lighter and lighter. You become helium. You get to the other peak. So the bridge is why the book was titled that. It's like get from where you are to here. And nobody has to go down and up like I did. The words my experiences that I had to go through to get this done for you, it will explain how you do it without having to do what I did. I put up the fence, and on September 7th, after James sent me that text, "What is your why?" the manifesto, I just wrote it down and I just did nothing with it. But then, not knowing what more to do, God got busy. And one of the many nights I wanted to die, I thought deeply about it at night. It was like I'd watch a movie, and I don't think ever, if I thought, I would be dead a long time ago. But it would be like I'd have wine. I'd be like, how can I do this? I would start, the wine didn't help because being present, you don't think. But I would think, I would look at my life and how horrible it looked and how bleak it is and how nobody could do what I did. And so if you ever go from presence to looking at the patheticness of your life, it will kill you. And that's why I had to stay present. So on this particular night, I was exceptionally low, praying to die. But it's like, I know I can't die. I have this book that I'm doing, and it's huge. It's all this, the work I have is huge. I know that. To keep me alive, the next morning I woke up to a text, a phone call, a voicemail from my deaf love of my life, and an email, text, and a voicemail. The next morning, it just rocked my world. I was angry because I did a release ceremony in March of that year, March or May, because I knew he was never coming. God, he plays with my mind. I didn't know how to feel. So I didn't call him because I don't know how he's deaf. He has hearing aids. So I was shocked that he left a message. That kind of changed things for me. The first day was just like I was angry, I was mad, I was weird. And then the next 3 days I was in love. He called me babe. I remember feeling like he called me babe. And I went back to the labyrinth that I walked 5 months earlier, whatever it was, at the Gateway Peace Garden in Mount Shasta. Go there, but go quietly. Don't let people bring groups or children through there. I walked the labyrinth, and I figured if he's supposed to be in my life at this moment, then that token that I placed there months ago will be there, and I'll see it. It was a little wooden heart with CJ and CJ on the other side forever. And I put it there and released it months before. So I walk the labyrinth, and I'm just empty of mind. And I get to the center, right in the center. Very center. So, hello. Sign, everywhere a sign. That's a sign. So that did it. So I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the feeling of love. And we just texted. Not a lot. It's just he was in Southern California, so I don't even know. But then he's like, "Oh, I'm not coming up." And I'm like, "Wait, why'd you reach out? Just say hi." It killed me. And I will probably attach it somewhere. At the end of this, I'll attach the audio of what I sent to Corey that morning. I'm like, I can't be your drive-by girlfriend. I can't do this anymore. I had to tell him to get lost. And it killed me. He was like the love of my life. He was the only perfection I'd known in the physical that I could touch. I couldn't touch Eldon. But so Corey was perfection for me. So after I was broken, I was told, go to Mount Shasta. And I'm sitting in my recliner looking at the fire, and I'm like, it's right there. Go get in your car and drive 16 miles to Mount Shasta. I'm like, fine then. So I did. I get there, and I'm told, go up to that rock, walk up to it. I start walking up. On the way to it, there's a woman banging one of those drums. And she's saying, with like a cowhide drum. Like, what the fuck? So I go up to my rock, and it's a big, flat rock at an angle. So I'm told, lay on it. So there I am, splat, like on a charger, an iPhone on a charger. I was there 5 hours. I stood up. I made 5 TikTok videos. I didn't have TikTok. I had it, but I never used it. And my kid told me before, Mom, you got to put your shit on TikTok if you want to attract more people. So I got up and I made 5 TikTok videos live, poof, right there about things that have never crossed my mind before. I was like, okay, that happened. And I was broken. I was so sad, but I knew I had something coming through. There was a book coming through and I knew it. So I walked around the mountain for a long time. And then I went back down to my house, and that was where the bridge was born. From there, every single day, I'm sure there's days I missed or misdated, whatever, but I did dictation every day. And I had to go places for it. I never get invited anywhere. I was asked out recently, which I'm like, yeah, wow, nobody's asked me out, so I've never had to respond. And so I'm like, I don't date. But my nephew called and invited me to Thanksgiving. And it was like, nobody invites me to anything. So I was like, yeah, go, I'm going to go. It was his wife's idea. So I went to Thanksgiving, had a nice time with him, saw my friends, saw my sister, and went back home. And then after I got back, this was after Thanksgiving, I don't remember the timeline, but I was pretty much informed that I was going to Las Vegas for a month. I hate that town. To me, it is Pigpen on Charlie Brown. It represents like everything everybody wants everywhere, like all the dirt and sin and could get away with anything, and it's all the dirt cloud. People go there to be illicit, to be naughty, to be dirty, to feel like they can get away with things. And it's like, it's just so icky. It's just an icky valley. It just held in there, and it keeps growing and growing to the mountains even further. I booked an Airbnb through James. He made it so easy. I had this house. I had a room for a month. It was just the weirdest thing. But when I was there for Thanksgiving, I was in this place that had a huge bathtub, and I'm all about getting in the water. I spent every morning in the bathtub. And that was where I started hearing from somebody I hadn't heard from in a long time. My grandfather. I was hearing a lot from him. And I don't remember at this point, but it's all dictated. It was just so much power about how I had to be at his pre-birth planning session for his life to unfold the way it did, for my mother to become who she was, for my grandmother to play her role the way she did, for my mom to be a princess, and who just didn't know how to raise kids, didn't even want to. It was just all about her. My mom had to be this princess for me to have the life that I did, to put me on the trajectory that I was on, to get to the place where I surrendered and found this path to my wormhole, which when you step in it, it's like when you're in your lane, it's like everything, like all your chakras are firing at once, like you twinkle inside. When you're in your lane, you're doing you, you're doing you. You're not doing them, you're doing you. It's like you feel so good. So the more you did that when I first started this journey, when I would venture out, things would feel icky. Boy, does that snap you back in quickly. The more you do this, everything is a practice. Everything is a practice. The more you stay in your lane, and when things feel icky, you go back in, the more you will never get out of your lane again. And this involves everywhere around you, other people, and their expectations and needs of you. And that's what the bridge unfolds, everything. We're doing things quite backwards. So I spent a month in Vegas experiencing a lot of experiences, and every day I wrote, and then I found myself back in Mount Shasta a few days early, but I had to get back for a reason. There's a woman who lived around the corner from me who has 2 red tabby cats who lived in my yard. And I love animals. And so these cats became my boys. And they spent a lot of time with me. But she found them. I'm like, hey, these yours? So we became friends. I got back to Mount Shasta, and I was going for a walk. And I always headed out to the right to get Roscoe over with, because he would bark when I would go by. And I'd get it over with. But this day I went to the left. When I went to the left, I saw an ambulance in her driveway. So I went there, and her husband was being taken away, and I knew he would never be coming home. And I knew I had to be there for those cats. They were his world. She loved them too, but I'm like, she's going, and they need me. It was like, it was just a no-brainer. I lived around the corner, and I love animals, and you never know. I just knew they needed me. So it was kind of unspoken, I think. I just did it. She showed me how to feed them, how to deal with stuff. And they took off. And Vinny and Theo are these little boys. And Vinny was the one who was taken off a lot then. Theo was home. So I have these cats with me the first night. And then Vinny takes off. And I'm like there for her. I'm talking to one of her friends who also knows about the cats and can help me with if I need, like feeding or whatever. But Vinny disappears and he's gone for 3 days. And I'm like, I can't tell her. Like, what the shit? So I go for a walk one day and I stop by this big, beautiful yellow Airbnb or bed and breakfast, that is. And there was a river, a creek, and I just stood there and I talked to God. Like, I can't take this on. Like, you gotta bring that cat home. Bring Vinny home. I'm like, I can't tell her. I didn't know what to do. So that night, Rich, my neighbor, I told him to come over and help me figure out her fireplace, her wood stove. Hers was different than mine. Has a fireplace option. He comes over and he's sitting in front of it as we hear the cat flap go boom. Exactly like 3 days to the hour, Vinny came flying in the door. I prayed, and I'm a good egg. I'm doing everything I'm told. So he came home. He came home. I had a whole lot of cat love. Oh my God, I built huge cardboard boxes with hanging toys, and I just had fun with the cats, just had cat love. And he passed, and then it was absolute lockdown. I was in an isolation that was absolute hell. The experiences I had to go through, like when I had to lose my phone in a Target Las Vegas, it was like my life is there. 20 minutes in a Target bathroom. Of course I got it back. But it's like I had to learn extremely how to have a trust fall with God. JD was a huge part of my early journey. JD follows guidance. His friend Mark, not so much. But JD, we did an interview on my channel together. And out of the blue, he sent me 2 things that were critical for me the summer of 22. They kept me alive. They kept me knowing that I was not alone. Like when I found self-help books, about people had life like this. Wow, so I read books. But JD sent me this video. I'll attach everything in the description somehow, wherever I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. But it was about what life is like in the 5th dimension. And every single thing that it says is exactly what I've experienced. And so this video tells me these people exist somewhere and I don't know how to find them. There's other people like me because somebody made this video that is exactly my existence. The fact that somebody made this video that explains in extreme detail who I am and how I operate, I just don't know how to find that village. But it's like, those are the people like me. And then the other thing he sent me, it was a TikTok video of a minister saying, you're not alone, you've been separated. You've been separated so you can know the sound of my voice. So when I say jump, you say jump. When I say go, you go. And that is exactly what happened to me. I have been separated from everyone. I have no human beings in my life at all. No dog, no cat, no bills. I have bill pay on everything but one visa I have to check in on, and I have a note to remind me. I have nothing to keep me plugged into being human. I am like this always. I receive, I dictate. But I've had to experience things, the trust falls with God, that have been so horrific and painful, but they always come out okay. Like the day when I knew my passwords to every account I have flew out my window. That somebody would have a copy of it. It's like those days when you just, and then it's like, no, relax instantly. No, it's okay. You don't go into panic because you just know, you trust. Nothing is ever lost, ever. And you have to get to a space where you know it. Like when I used to think I lost things. Thank you, I'll remember. Yeah, when you think you lose things, you believe it, it's a missing of something. But you don't actually ever lose anything. It always reappears. You just have to trust God, trust the universe, trust the process. For the bridge, this was not the biggest chapter by far, but it was the biggest experience by far. So big that I was told I had to make a documentary about it. I'm told what to do and I do it. And then I see the outcome. On this particular day, and I beg for death frequently. On this particular day, I'd watched my movie. I'm sitting on the couch. I turn off the TV and I'm told, all right, let's go to the nightstand. We're going to take all those pills in the bottle and we're going to die for a minute. I wasn't told that. I don't get every step. I was told, go get those pills, we're taking them. And I'm like, and I just remember going, no, 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 line, line in the sand. I talked to her about the line in the sand. You've got to cross that line in the sand. Don't be Carrie. That night they say, go get those pills. I'm like, no. So I go into my bedroom and I kneel in front of the nightstand and I'm crying forever. I'm just crying, bawling my eyes out. Take the pills out, pour on my hand, pour them out. I'm like, no, 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 no. Why do I have so many in the jar? So then I grab them. I walk down the hall and I go into the kitchen. And I'm leaning against the counter. I'm like, God, for the love of God, let's not play this game. Because every night I beg for death. I've got my chart. It's like every night, I want to die, I want to die. So this night, they're like, okay, let's do this. And I'm like, no. Apparently I'm a big fat chicken. I pour all the pills in my hand, and I'm looking at them. And I'm like, no. And this is where the documentary comes in. And this is where I'm going to also send this to Jonathan at Endlessly Pictures. Because how he depicts this is how it's got to show. This is where the enforcers came in and said, bitch, please don't make us work. But they had to, because I was not going to do this. I was not going to do it. So the pills are in my hands. So I'm like, whatever. And then my mouth opens and I'm like not doing it. My hand is like forced into my open mouth. It's like forced in by something outside of myself, like the sun stopped the car from me going to the head-on collision. And then at that moment, there's the sink. I'm gonna go blow those babes out. But my hand had the water bottle and it was emptying in my mouth while the thought even finished. And at that point, I wasn't thinking about what happened, about we're gonna do this. I just thought, shit, I did this. I really did it. And I don't weigh much, it was so many blood pressure pills. So anyway, I felt calm. I felt peace. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm gonna go do the thing. So I go walk down the hall and I walk by my bathroom and I literally have the thought, well, I guess I'm not gonna brush my teeth. You think? So I went in my room and I went to bed and I pulled the covers up. And then I woke up because I had to pee. And this was where I saw my body was this dense, heavy, and all I visualize is I see these ghouls with all their skin hanging off. Like I'm carrying this body to the bathroom to potty. And I plop it on the pot, it does its thing, and then I carry this thing back. It's like I'm not out of body, I'm there with it still, but I'm carrying it because it's not there. And I put it down, and then I'm like, all right. And then off I went. The only thing that comes to mind is the scrubbing bubbles from on the tub of the bathtub. And this is what I explained to my filmmaker. It's like all I could visualize was that the scrubbing bubbles kicked in, like when I choke. They kick in quickly. I've choked like 40 times. The scrubbing bubbles, they kicked in, and it was like within, I want to say 20 minutes, like my first download in Puyallup, it was as if I never took pills. Nothing. And I was aware that I was awake. I mean, I was aware that I was alive at this point and in my body. But then a little bit later, I opened my eyes to morning and I'm like, okay, I'm going to feel this. I'm going to feel like, oh my God, I was Susie Sunshine. I popped out of bed like a butterfly. A lot of the steam's taken off, believe me. It was, for a while, I couldn't even talk about it. I mean, I wrote that chapter, obviously, and I did send it to one person then, and since then, I've never had a conversation with him. It was like, yeah, I did die. And it was like, I died, but they brought me back. And I said about choking, because now I don't eat much. I can eat when I want, anything, but I choke on chicken a lot, because if I make it, it's usually really good, and I just want to have more. And I don't think about the chewing process, because I'm kind of out here. Often that first bite is, oh shit, right there, and just stuck. The same thing happens. I see little scrubbing bubbles. I don't need to Heimlich anything. I've never Heimlich myself. I see the scrubbing bubbles just go in there and they break it down. They break it down. I've been sitting in a restaurant choking or gagging, which I would be if I was like, but it's like it breaks it down and then I feel it go away. I mean, I'd be dead 40 times over from as many times I've choked. So the body, as you've heard from Abraham Hicks or anything else, we can regrow our own limbs, law of attraction. It's just we can make it anything we want. That's why I've got the body I have now. I've got the teenage body I wish I had then. But I don't care. I had the big boobs instead and really bad teeth. After I died and I wrote that chapter, literally within a week or two, that chapter became like, it was just another Thursday. It was literally nothing because every day brought something new on. And I've been getting little tiny glimpses. I put some videos out about some other glimpses into what I wrote or experienced, but I'm not going to dive into that because I don't need to or want to. But I've been given enough to show what I've learned. But it's what my body had to go through, what I had to go through, the physiological processes in receiving this. I had to have my body completely change and become immaculate, become a vessel, which is the word that tripped that guy, to receive from the sky. It's like we have biblical documents that have come down in tablets and form, but we're in the century now to where nobody has a way of receiving information and saying, look, world, I got a new Bible. It's like nobody will take in anything anybody says. There will not be any believable Jesus that the Christians are going to agree on. They won't. It's like, no, ours is real. No, really? They'll probably take the guy from The Chosen over anything that came down from the sky. You got to think about this in reality. How do we get information now when it's centuries beyond everything that's ever been written and we're kind of a new era now? And we have people who are able to remove themselves from the planet. For over 4 years, I've been away from people. I've been alone over 4 years. And then in doing that, you're only connected to the other side. And one of the questions this guy asked me, he said, I refer to my conversations with them. I don't speak to a being. There's not like one-on-one with the being. I don't channel one being. It's like I have an entire panel of beings that are involved with each subject as the subject comes up. And like Alden is always on the team. My grandfather has been greatly on the team. Tenagni's lost in there somewhere, but there's people who are the ones who can affect the chapter to make that chapter important. Oh my gosh, this is so powerful. They're the ones that came through for each topic. Because I had to learn about the topic of death. Poop, those people who knew how to get that across came through. I've had to live every experience that humans have had to live, from being tortured and abused, sexually abused by my dad, held out of a helicopter, rich, poor, you name it. I've had to be it. Oh my God, ate too many teeth. Oh, huge boobs. Oh, I was always fat. I was a hot mess. And even when I wasn't a hot mess, even when I look at those pictures, when I'm like, I was little, I thought I was fat still in here. I was teeny in some pictures, but I saw a fat girl. It's wild how the brain works. So I've stepped away from people for all of this, for the receiving of the bridge, and the body has changed so much. I mean, I am connected to source completely because I've had to be. And so I'm living in a way that we all can live and we want to live, because I had to go through hell to write the bridge, to receive it, but life is so good. It's like, you need that, it shows up. You need that, it shows up. Everything shows up. I had to have a different life because I had to go without a lot. I couldn't get my bathroom done because if it was, I could sell the house and it would change things. I couldn't get into my cryptocurrency because I would have spent it somehow, but I needed that to do the bathroom repair when it was time. Because it was like, went from $5,000 to $20,000. Because yeah, don't do that, my ex said. It paid for the bathroom repair. But there are no errors whatsoever. Everything, when you're in your lane, everything's firing, everything shows up for you exactly perfectly. The receiving of the bridge was absolute hell. I'm in Mount Shasta, and there were many more chapters that came through when it came time for the bathroom to get done. And poof, Jackson appears. Him showing up, showing me this process, how long it was going to take. I realized the other guys that came in that were giving me bids, they could not have been in my house that length of time. Oh, hell no. I would have killed them. They would have driven me crazy because I didn't realize, see, this man has to be in my house for 3 weeks, in my space. And I don't do that. Oh, he was such a gift. So he came and he made it so easy, so easy. My bathroom is done. You know, it was wild. It was like this, okay, I can leave here. But no, I have become so connected to source, so disconnected from humans and what they do to each other and how icky they are with each other, that really nothing, you know, it's like water off a duck's back. I'm pretty freaking tough, too tough. After the bathroom was done, I created a problem with my brain. because somebody planted a seed. One of the guys who was going to give me a bed, seeing the holes in the ground, he was like, oh, got rats? Because the hole, I'm like, rats? Am I going to have rats? So literally, this is what you do. The tub is done. I'm ready to go. The wall's done. It looks great. But I created a huge problem because not only did I agree to have rats, I agreed to have a few rats. So I got Shay's humane trap and I put it in my attic, caught one. Thank you, my neighbor Rich. Got it. We got it out. And then caught another. But at this point, I'm going crazy because I hear them in the roof. Oh, the peanut thing, finding peanuts under chairs that were eaten. It became a nightmare, a horror story. But I can take anything. Nothing bothers me. It's like if I was a normal human, if I was living this experience, I would have left a long time ago. But no, it doesn't bother me. It's like, it's just whatever. The final straw. And I had to experience this because they're like shaking me like, Carrie, you got to go now. You can go to Ashland. You can go to this bustling town of Ashland. They're like, come on, come on. But I'm like, no, I've got rats. And you can't sell your house if you have a rat infestation. Now, can you can't put it on the market. The one day, a couple things had to happen here. The day I realized I did this, I realized I am there for others to tell them you created this. And they're yelling at me, but I'm not hearing it. So I walk in and I drop to my knees because I'm like, oh my God, I'm thinking about rats. In my thinking about rats, I am making the rats so bad that I had a vision of decon, the rat poisoning. And I thought it was me giving myself a vision of a way to die. They're like, no, poison the fuckers. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to eat that. But they're like, no, you gotta go rogue on this because I won't kill anything. I won't hurt anything. So that was when I went rogue, did the decon. That's when they started dropping dead. The last straw, when I really knew I had to get pest control, was they were done. I saw no traces anywhere. All the peanuts were out of my house. I was peanut free. I open my kitchen cupboard under the sink, and the Dawn dish soap, the bottle has been eaten and there's rat shit all in it. They like Dawn dish soap and there's no other food. So there was rats in there trying to get out. They were trying to find a way out of my house, but they couldn't, which is a good thing. The final 2 days, I went to bed and I always wake up to pee in the middle of the night. I always do. I don't mind. I like reset. I woke up and I go to my bathroom and behind the toilet, I've got a cabinet. Bang, bang, bang on the wall. I'm like, so anyway, I sit down to pee and I'm like half on, half off, like making sure I stay in the bowl. And then I dart at them. I'm like, what the fuck? It was just banging on the wall. And then I'm in the hallway and I'm like, what's that? So I run through the kitchen. My washing machine is filling up. It's like, what the fuck? So I stop it. I lift the lid up, whatever. And it was just, what the fuck was that? This noise. I go back to bed. And the next morning I take the cabinet out of the bathroom. Like, you're gone. I'm selling you anyway. Cabinet's gone. And then it was like, all right, like, no big deal. But I mean, it was like any other part of my life, I would have been so gone. That night, I would have left. I would have been in a motel. But no, not me. So then the next night, I go to bed. And this time I wake up in the middle of the night to pee. Bathroom. Bang, bang, bang. So this time I go in and I'm banging back. And it banged back. So this was a bit much for me. Then I walk out and now I'm kind of spinning in circles. I'm like, oh my God, this is happening again. So I go out and I hear my washing machine filling up again. So I'm like, ah! I go out there. I can't get to the plug, but I lift the lid. I put cling wrap all over it so nothing falls in. I don't want to drown rat in my washer. And I'm like, okay, I can't turn on with the lid. But the next morning was when I hopped on Airbnb and I booked an Airbnb in Ashland, Oregon, because my friend Shashi introduced it to me. I spent one night at Shashi's. That next night, I didn't stay in my house. And then I went to Ashland for 30 days. Then I got another place in Ashland for 49 days, then 7 days. My house sold in Mount Shasta. Where I'm at now, it's a little town in the Medford Rogue Valley called Jacksonville. It is a tiny little town in the wine country. It's a tiny town, but the airport's right over there. And I had to end up here for the end of the book to come through. And it did. And the experience had to happen. I discovered Ashland because of Shashi. She made me see it. She knew I had to. I have been isolated and introverted and incarcerated for such an extraordinary amount of time, over 4 years now. like no humans in my life. The checkers, the cashiers, the bartenders, the waiters. That's all that I know. And that's just for that moment. She knew I had to see Ashland because she'd been there and I hadn't. If you drive through Oregon, if you're on I-5, you don't see Ashland. Keep going. If you see way over there, there's this big, tall, white hotel. That's where you need to go. I am going everywhere on the Oregon coast because I know I can't go back anywhere where I've been before. And everywhere I go, it's like, God, it's too far from the airport, blah, blah, blah. And then, so I'm like, I'm going to go to Roseburg. I've never considered Roseburg. And she's like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? She's like, can you please, before you go, meet me in Ashland? First, she wanted me to go with her, and she knows I won't get in somebody's car. I don't do that. That takes me out of my power. She said, please meet me there. So I'm like, fine, kicking and screaming. I go to this restaurant. I put it in my phone, and I'm driving through town, and I'm driving through this part of town that was really cute and green and hilly. And then I get to the restaurant, and I park my car, and I just drop to my knees. I'm in Ashland, Oregon, where it's bustling with life. Even in November, people are everywhere. They're going to scout for a beer and sit by a fire. There's restaurants. There's people playing music on the street. It's like Shakespeare Festival here. My boss, John Foster, would go to the Shakespeare Festival every year. And I visualized Valencia, California, the Renaissance Fair, where people come in costumes and they play in the woods. No, not even close. I saw like the Seattle Center in this town where they have Shakespeare plays and magical things happening and actors everywhere. It's the energy of this town is light. It's lively. It's a flourishing space because it's about art, and energy is a beautiful energy, and wine country. It doesn't have darkness. It doesn't. So this is flourishing here. When Shashi brought me there and I saw the town, that's where I booked. That's why I booked a room there. The first one I booked for 30 days was at the south end of town. It was on a hillside with a great view. I was all about the view. It was not a good fit, but it was like 30 days. And it was great for me to go back and forth to Mount Shasta to get stuff up. But then I realized this is contrast, law of attraction. I knew I was way down there and everything was going on way up there at Lithia Park. I knew I was going to be at Lithia Park because I had to stay there. I wanted to experience not driving. I don't like to drive if I don't have to. I drive long distances, not short. I pull up this place that I've looked at a few times, but the room I looked at, I'm so glad I never got because it was this one window. No bueno. This one popped up and I put in 49 days and it popped up at a great rate. So I booked it, paid for it. I moved there and it was amazing. It was wonderful. I walked, but I gained weight too. But the food is amazing. But I realized after the 49 days there, I was starting to venture out. That's how I discovered Jacksonville. But I realized that kind of town, it's like, I like to eat, I like to drink, and I like to listen to music. But it's like, I want to do something. I don't know. It's like, I'm more energetic than that. I don't want to just do that. So I felt like I could walk all around here, but there was nothing to do. And every other person you meet is a published author too. It's crazy. It was a town I felt good, but I just knew I got in the car and I discovered Jacksonville, which is an old antique town, man. The cemetery is magical. 80,000 graves here. But I love this town. It's like I can be in the big city of Medford and get everything done, but I can come back to this tiny town and just be CJ, just dissolve into the woodwork, great food, good music, and it's close to everything. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't care. I'm the last to know, the first to go. End up, I'll just go to the next place after this. My lease is over in August, so I don't know what's up next. I had to come to Jacksonville for an experience. It's like the book, every now and then I do a little dictation still. It's kind of, they call it squeezing the sponge to get the last nuggets out. But I had to come to Jacksonville for one specific experience for me to get the aha moment, the cracking of the egg for the last chapter of the book to come through. And here's what happened. I'm going to share it because it's magical. I don't speak to anybody, but I do know the waitresses and stuff. There's a waitress at Bella Union, this great Italian place here in town with great music. And she loves me, but she loves everybody equally. She's such a big soul. One night I go in and there's a bar stool, which means I can sit, turn out and watch music. If there's not a bar stool, I leave. I just don't even stay. I don't even try. This particular night was different because I'm sitting next to men and there's one man that stares at me nonstop. I feel it constantly. If you want to talk to me, but don't make me naked with your eyes. So this particular night, I'm looking out And then I turn in and this girl goes, I'm going to introduce you. This is Carrie. This is Carrie. She introduces me to two people next to me. This doesn't happen. I very specifically tell people, do not introduce me to anyone. But I never expected the waitress who's now bartending to do that. She wants everybody to love each other. So this moment was powerful. This moment gave this guy the license to talk to me right out of the gate. What's your sign? I'm like, really? I don't participate. And just he starts going, he works at a winery nearby. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he wouldn't leave me alone. And he was like, he wanted to touch my hair. He wanted to hug me. He's like, Jennifer Aniston would kill to have your hair. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm trying to emulate her. It was weird because I felt very uncomfortable because I felt like I wanted to sit and listen to music and I kept trying, but he kept interjecting. And then the other guy would too. He's kind of smiling. And then the other guy over there. But I realized at that moment, I'm very strong. I have no fear. I mean, ask the rats. I am very strong and I do show up at a different vibration and a different space because my vibration is elevated because I am connected to source. I'm in a space where I don't hold any of the beliefs people down here do. The beliefs are what keeps it heavy for you. I'm like an onion, like all of you, a big bulb, but I peeled back everything to just become what the onion became. I am the onion. We get to be spirit living in our body full time when we walk away from all the other stories. I'm not getting into any great detail because I've written it everywhere and it's in everything I've written in the book. But I just surrendered and I followed my higher self, which I became. This is me. This is me out here. I don't come in and check in with the body ever. And that's why if the body's going through something and I don't know about it, could be a problem. Like I don't know when I have to pee. And this is true. I've done videos about it. I don't have the physiology. I can't sense heat like I used to. I got a horrible heat rash because I was overdressed for a long time and I would scratch it and rip my skin apart. I didn't care, but it was like, oh, I guess I need to pay attention to what the body normally needs. I can sit in probably a tub extremely hot or extremely cold and it won't bother me, but I need to make sure the body is taken care of because the more you let go of your story and all this stuff, you just become who you are. And this thing you get to take with you on your journey. It's a magical ride, but it's just letting go of all the stuff we've known. This journey for me, I had to go through all of these experiences, bringing me to the last chapter, which shows how strong I am. And when you're a very strong woman, and this is for women everywhere, the women that are looking for that partner to settle for, to get married, to have a baby, you don't want to do any of that. If you allowed yourself to not do that first and just like step away from everyone and just become what you come from, like follow your arrow, go away for a long period of time and talk to no one, literally get a new number and throw the other one away. Allow yourself to unfold, especially suicidal people, just do this anyway. Fly somewhere else, get a different number and make up a story, make up a fake story, something you'd wish you could be. And then watch as you become it right before your eyes. You do. I just stopped being what I thought I was supposed to be. I started saying no to John about stuff that I wanted to say no to, but I just went because it was like, let's go to Tom and Karen's to the lake. I'm like, no, I don't want to go. We're both like, what do you mean I don't want to go? It's like a thought. Of course I want to go. I started vocalizing what I felt inside. And when you just start doing that, you just float to where you are and you're only here for you. So me receiving the bridge, I surrendered to my instruction manual that was written long before I was born. I stepped into the rest of the steps I had to take. All of the other steps are in becoming immaculate, man is running his own nest, Sedona, the call of the messenger, and now the bridge. I've got 7 books that I've written. They're written. It's like, God, it's all this documentation that I have. I'm like, where is all this? I've got to go back to this at some point, but I'm going to have help with it. I'm not doing all this myself. I stepped away to receive this information so I could tell everyone that, yes, you're in a story with all these people, your family, and you're told this is who you hold on tight to. But if you stop that, and if you think, would I have picked these people? If it was me today, And I look at my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, would you have picked them to be the people you want to spend eternity with as family? So I was forced today to look at that. It was like my mom and my two sisters and me. The dads kept flowing. But would I have, think about this, guys. Think about this. This is huge. Looking back to your drawing board, knowing what I know now, knowing what you know now about your family and who wants what from you. Oh, this just came through. If I was sitting in a room looking at my mom and knowing who she was and what she did, would I have picked her? No. I wouldn't have picked any of my dads but the last one. My two sisters, oh my God, we were nothing alike. Donna was a thief. She grew drugs, sold drugs, alcohol. She was just a hot mess. Everything that we had wrong with us, we both had polycystic kidney disease. She was like, yes, I have something else to add to the scorecard. And I'm like, I have it, it won't have me. And now I don't take pills for it anymore. I don't have anything. So Donna was always a victim. She married 5 men after we had 5 dads. And then I have another sister that I'm told we're sisters and we're together for life. And so I'm like, okay. And during this journey, this is huge. This is huge. I was the baby. She was the oldest. You guys, this is so huge. She was my sister. And I'm like, thank God we have each other because we went through hell together as children. But I let it go. I moved on. Donna never did. She died with it. It was sad being Donna. She had a miserable life. But my other sister's been on the fence. She can go either way. And I've just been able to be there for her. And she's needed, like, please stay there. There's a lot of people like, please, please, please stay in my life. I'm like, well, you got to do something. You got to give me something back. I had to just be there for her phone calls and stuff. And after I was told I was separating, disappearing from everyone, I did. But the only call I would take would be hers every few months. She would leave me a message saying, hey, Carrie, it's your sister. Are you talking to humans yet? And then eventually she'd call and I would answer. I would be like, I'd see the phone ring and I would think, fuck, I got to get this over with. So I'd answer and she'd tell me all the things she learned. She likes to share all the stuff she learned. You know what I learned? And I learned how to do this with this. And she learned something that I should have told her that I knew that I didn't share. Like when you take the dryer lint out, you should save that for fires. I should have told her. I'm like, I don't tell people what I've learned. I just, we got to learn it ourselves sometimes. When I wrote the book for her, and then we had a conversation about politics of all things on text. And I was like, you know what? I don't go there. It's like, I'm not going to support that. And then she's like, well, I never read your fucking book. The one, Becoming Immaculate, that I wrote for her, which I wrote it for others, but it'd be helpful for her. But I was like, it was such a gift because I realized I've had to be there for her, to take her calls and to be in her house when the tension was thick. I was like, oh my God, we got to get out of here, guys. She's going to blow. And it was like, finally, I could unplug that thing from my back that has been stuck in my back my entire life. At that moment, I was able to do that vacuum cord. I just thought retractable, push the cord sucks in, retract any portion of me that was plugged into that. I got to unplug it. I got to unplug it and then get all those parts of me back. And those are the last parts of me that were missing because I believed I had to stay plugged into something that caused me great pain. And I no longer am. So that was one of the final things for me. Receiving the book, The Bridge. What happens next? I don't know. I don't care. It'll all come out perfectly because the right people will show up. I will have the people. We'll go through this again. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad I don't have to do it alone. I'm going to hold hands with others. We're going to all experience it for the first time. Because it came from the sky. And I heard parts. But I don't remember it. So there's a bunch of us that are going to hear this for the first time. So the reason this book is there and the reason I went through this and I volunteered to do this, I volunteered to give my life for this, was you don't have to go through what I went through. As I've said in many videos, it's like your praying hand. This is you when you're born. And this is why you came here. This is where you are. But the world you've created, it's like this story of people that you're responsible for. You think you're responsible for their feelings. You can't be responsible for anyone's feelings but yours. Just think on that for a minute. If you weren't, imagine where you'd be. So all these people, they have expectations of you. You need to babysit, you need to give me grandbabies, but that's all. You can't get here from there. So what you learn in the bridge is how to go from here to here and just squeeze that part out and just decide to be this. And then that part, it's like the story, you just close a chapter. It doesn't hurt. Nobody hurts over it. You just step into who you are, and it's so much easier than you think. The final chapter came through, which ties a bow around it, how women were meant to be small and weak, and we got smaller and weaker. We've let men take over. And all the videos at the beginning when I did them on TikTok from the bridge, right out of the gate, it's like, we're already equal. Just let's stop pretending, because we already are. It's like, it's a no-brainer. And we can never own other people. How do we ever believe that? Children, you don't have kids. They're not yours. They are their own spirit. You are killing them by telling them who they are, what they need to do. Do not put them in preschool. God, just put them in a jungle and let them swing from vines. Let them do what they do. And man is ruining his own nest in the parable. So we're not here to raise children. We're not here to get married and have families. It's all in the bridge. Why would we marry someone for the rest of our life when we don't even know who we are? We start discovering who we are after we're married, and that's when we start hating them and resenting them because they're becoming who they are, and the divide gets even bigger. But it's just common sense. You can't marry somebody for life. We have proven it time and time again. And your children can't belong to you. If somebody leaves, if you say, oh, daddy abandoned us, he left us, we're broken, that kid's ruined. But if you say, oh, he's gone, he'll be fine. You know what? Let's see what he does. He's going to do stuff. Once you know what you're supposed to do, we got to go do it. Let's find our soul, find our path. We're victims. No, this is a solo journey. There's so much to it that I don't want to go longer, but my journey has just been surrender. I followed this path and I've made it all the way to the end. And I was going to do that call today with all my friends. And I realized that would have been, it's a lot to take in. And it's so much easier for me doing this casually. Now I get to edit it and get it to them so they could see how my journey, what it was. It was just, all I did was surrender. I followed my next step. I let go of the next person that I was supposed to let go of. And that's all there is to it. You let go of the things that they don't feel good anymore. And you just keep rising and rising and rising and rising. Yes, I can go for another 12 hours easily, but I'm going to call it good. So I just followed my path, and now I'm on the other side of the bridge, far on the other side of the bridge. I am extremely strong, and it shows up everywhere I go. And I am very excited because I'm going to leave here. I'm going to finish this video. I'm not touching it later. I'm not touching it until later. But the woman with the cats who lost her husband, she's coming to Ashland, and I'm going to go meet her. We're going to hang out together. So that I'm very much looking forward to. I haven't had friends. I don't do stuff like that. But my life is starting now. It is starting now. And the book, the right people will show up. But this was to explain. I just followed my path. I just followed the next thing. And when you're in your lane, you feel good. If it feels icky, you made a wrong turn. The icky thing, flick it away and go the other way. Get back in your lane. Stay in. I just visualize the groove on a record, just no skipping. Stay in your lane. Let that song finish and go slow. If something feels off, it is. You can't fix it. You can't make it work. Its time is over. Be fluid, get in your wormhole, and let it suck you all the way up. It's not a sideways journey. It's straight up. You're ascending when you're here. Ascend, for the love of God. Ascend. And let him help you. I guarantee you will. You pray, it'll show up. But you got to mean it. You got to mean it this time. All right, Corey, I have to record this for you. It's Saturday morning, the 14th. I'm so sorry you got connected to somebody as crazy as me. When I heard from you, it was like the cage door opened, and I didn't realize I'd been in a cage. I haven't felt love. I haven't felt feelings in in a very long time. And I've realized a few things. I can't hear from you ever again is the first thing, because just seeing your name destroyed me. It gives me promise. It gives me hope. It gives me hope for something that is not going to be. And I can't just think that I'm your drive-by girlfriend, that someday you'll be on I-5 and I'll get to see you. And
I'm a little bit more precious than that. I deserve more than that. And I know that. It was like when we were together, and all I ever said to you was just knowing that we would be together and just knowing that there would be a future. It was like, that's all I ever wanted. And you couldn't give me that then. And then here I thought, oh my God, I get to be his babe. And I'm like, yeah, just for a minute. I don't know what's going on in your world, and I can't know. And we can't talk on the phone because that would be all we would talk about, is what's going on with where we've been, because without seeing each other, there is no where we're going. And that's why it's like, I knew if we talked on the phone, all we'd say, so what have you been up to? And then you'd be telling me this life you've had, and I would wonder, why haven't I been in it? And I've known why I couldn't be in it, because I've had this stuff I've had to do. I've had all this writing I need to do. And now I have another book I'm supposed to write, and I just don't want to do it anymore. This isolation is not for me. It's worked for a while, I guess, until I heard from you. And it just reminded me that, no, I don't like this. I can't be around other people because I have been elevated to this space to where I know why we're here. I know the secrets to life. I know all of that. And I can't be with people who want to tell me all the reasons why they can't be anything and why they can't be more, because I know they can. And I just can't be with people because of that. So I'm not looking at email. I know you're not reaching out, and that's okay, because now I know you won't, because I'm asking you not to. And it literally, Corey, it's like, I have so much love to give. And it opened it up. It opened up my heart. And I need that baby to be locked back up again. So I am so grateful you came into my life. I am so grateful we met. I wish I had a picture, but I don't, but I see you still. I don't need to show you to anybody, because I know what we had. I know what it was. I know how it felt. And the way I described it to people is like, when you showed up, we just became one. I dissolved into you. But apparently that's not for this lifetime. So, love of my life that I will never have. Please, yeah. I guess just let me go, and I've got to let you go again. And I guess that's it. So, you will, when I die, you'll be in my heart. I promise you.